What's going on, everybody? Today we are going to do a quick review on the Samsung Focus 2. The Focus 2 is a follow-up to the Samsung Focus 1. We're going to go over some quick stats here, and then we're going to do a kind of a pros and cons of this phone. So as you can see right here, we have the 4-inch Super AMOLED display, which is a very nice display for a Windows Phone. I say for a Windows Phone because there is the restriction of the 480 by 800 pixels that Windows Phone 7 puts on manufacturers. So Samsung did pretty much the best they possibly could with that. It's crisp, it's sharp. If you put it next to other Windows phones, you'd be able to see just how nice that display is. It is running a 1.4 gigahertz processor. It's got 8 gigs of built-in storage. It's got a 1750 milliamp battery. And it's got a 5 megapixel camera on the back with a single LED flash. So there's your specs. Let's take a tour around the phone real quick. We already talked about the display. There is your 3 obligatory Windows Phone buttons on the bottom. Up top, you have your earpiece, your front-facing camera, you have your proximity sensor, and you have your light sensor. Okay, we'll just stick here with the top. You have your 3.5 millimeter headphone jack and your noise cancellation. Coming down this side, you have your volume rocker. And then on the bottom, you have your USB. Coming up this side, you have your camera button and your power button, which also doubles as your lock and lock button. And then naturally on the back, you have your 5 megapixel camera with your single LED flash and your speakerphone. I really like the design of this phone. I like the fact that your lock button is right here. It's not on the top like some manufacturers make it. That is super convenient on the side. You want to open the phone, you hit the lock button, it's right there. I like the fact that the white does not take dirt. I really just like the design. It's a sharp design, and the fact that the white does not take dirt is nice. It's durable, feels good in the hand. Some of the other Samsung products that they make, they're trying too hard to be light and thin, and they just feel cheap, but this one does not. Some of the other pluses on this phone is that underneath here, you can't see the 750 milliamp battery does a really good job of getting you through the day. While I'm not running on true LTE where I live, and that would take battery down a little bit quicker, I do get a full day out of this battery. And I think you would too. I'm a little harder on smartphones as far as web surfing, internet browsing, social media, emails. I read books on my phone. So I think you would be okay getting through the day with this phone. I like the display down there. If you see, it lights up real nice. It's kind of blurry in the video, but those buttons are real easy to find when you're using it. And I like the size too. Normally I use a bigger phone, but the 4-inch display is a kind of a nice mix between the large, super large phones that I like to use and the tiny ones. It's very pocketable. Everything is very maneuverable on it, and you can reach from one corner to the next. What I don't like about this phone would be the 5 megapixel camera on the back. Its pictures are not that great. Let's open this up again. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Outdoors, it does a decent job. Indoors, not so good. This is an outdoor picture on a fairly sunny day. This one doesn't look that bad. Colors are pretty good. They're pretty true to what it is. But this was after an autofix. Here's the same picture, or close to the same picture in the exact same spot. And as you can tell without the autofix, it's kind of dark, and it just really doesn't do your pictures justice. And the other thing that I don't like, of course, would be the 8 gigs of internal memory. That's down to, I think, 6.6 once you get the operating system on it. There is no expandable slot on Windows Phone 7.5, so you are stuck with that. That's something you're going to have to kind of think about before you buy this phone. Other than that, it's straight Windows Phone 7.5. It's Mango. It's exactly what you'd expect. It's fluid, it's smooth, everything works just like you'd expect in a Windows phone. The only difference that a Samsung Windows phone would bring to the table is what they call the Now Hub. Give it a second to fire up. As you can see, it gives me the weather, gives me a couple top stories. If I had stocks, it would give me stock updates, and you can set it to do a couple other things. It's really nice. I like hubs. I'm one of the few people that do. And the only other thing that I really found useful that's Samsung exclusive is this photo studio. It does a really good job with the photos you take. Unfortunately, the photos you take with this phone aren't that good, so it's kind of useless on this phone. This phone is $49.99 on the AT&T network, which isn't a bad price for this phone. But considering that you could get the Nokia Lumia 900 for the same price on a 2-year contract with a bigger screen and a better camera and just a slightly better design, plus an extra 8 gigs of internal storage. If I walked into an AT&T store, I would probably get the Lumia, although this is not a bad phone. It would come down to a design preference for the average consumer. If you guys have any questions on this phone, you can give me a tweet. I am at Nokia Knowings, or just leave it in the comments, and I will try to get back to you before I have to ship this phone back. Thanks for watching.